Champ, I want to tell you something that's going to scare the shit out of you. Now, why should you listen to me? Well, in 2006, fourth quarter, I saw the real estate crash coming, but I didn't have a YouTube channel, so I got into real estate. 2016, when gold was all-time low, I said gold is the play and not real estate. And gold went from $1,100 to $5,500. In 2016, I also said Bitcoin is the play for me, and we see that Bitcoin from $1,600 or $1,200 at that time, roughly, to right now is $100,000 to $60,000. So it fluctuates. Okay. I've also said that there was going to be civil unrest in America back in 2017, 2018, and we had that come up. Now you can go to my YouTube channel and watch some of that information, but what I'm going to tell you right now is something that you really need to be thinking about and getting prepped for and getting ready for, okay? That there's not going to be oil, gas at the gas station, even that you think that America is the producer of exporter of oil, which is true, but there's not going to be at the gas station, or there's going to be rations. Okay, forget about the Great Depression. Okay, forget about that. What's coming is even worse than that, dude. Like literally, food shortages, hyperinflation or stagflation, whatever you call it, doesn't matter. Just the economy is going to be super, 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 super sick. Okay, people are not going to find jobs or have jobs, and the story goes on and on and on. Okay, and the thing that people don't realize is that because we think we're the superpower, or ego, or ignorance, or arrogance, makes us feel like, well, it's never going to happen here. We're in America. We have abundance. But we don't realize that we don't have the factories. China has it. We used to. We don't realize we don't have X, Y, and Z. The medicine someone else makes. The raw material for that is somewhere else. The story goes on and on, okay? Until it comes and smacks the shit out of us in the face. When we go to the gas station and there is none, or there's rations. We go to the grocery store, there is none, or ration, or super high, all right? And like I said, the greatest depression that we saw back in the day is just going to be a mini meaning of what's really coming right now. And you can see a front run of it in other countries. For example, if you go to India, there's already massive shortages of fuel, people staying in lines, other countries, they're telling their citizens not to drive, work remotely, or get a certain amount of gas. And this is just the beginning. Then there's going to be food shortages. There's a lot of countries that, import 90% of their fuel from other countries, like India, right? And if you watch some of the Indian news, man, they're like so mad of America. They're cracking jokes at Trump, and I mean, you should hear people around the world talking about how mad they are because we're like killing their livelihood. Like other countries like Africa and poorer countries, there's going to be famine, there's going to be like shortages, even in America. Okay, so if that's going to happen in America, imagine what's going to happen to those truly poor countries, right? So the Epstein class just opened a can of worms against the whole world, dude, because of their lust, gambling, greediness, thirst for more and more, accumulation, and their evilness that they have in them, right? Which is crazy. On top of Ezra Hell, the settler colonist, Zionist pig, because they created genocide. All right, now, but what's coming is beyond explanation, it's beyond imagination, guys, okay? Because it's not just us going to feel it, it's going to be many countries, and I think that, that as more and more people in other countries start feeling it, they're going to get more upset, they're going to demand more from their governments to be mad at America, okay? And this is why I said in my videos many moons ago that the world's going to one day attack America, and here we are. We're getting to the point where if you listen to these Chinese, Japanese, Koreans, Indian, Pakistani, Latin American, I mean, you can hear how they're fucking pissed off at the Americans, and the world is now starting to see the reality for what it is, that America is not passive democracy, or they don't care about this right or women's right or whatever. It's all about colonial settle mindset. It's all about profits, margins. It's all about greed, and it has no values or moral ethics. Even for example, America created the the law of war, rule, whatever you want to call it, right? The international course, the United Nations, etc., right? And they're not even upholding to these things that they created for the rule of law to be applied so we could have peace, okay? We are the very first ones that hit schools, hit bridges, hit universities, hit broadcasters. We supported people that do genocide in Gaza with money, with political power, with, military equipment, and so on and so on, guys. So now there's a karma, okay? We live in the world of dualities. It goes like this, right? The power is shifting from America to Iran. Once this thing finishes, guys, Iran's going to be, as one of the world's superpowers, okay? Because it's gone against two of the world's superpowers. First, let's talk about America. The 1,000-pound gorilla in the world that every country bows down to, from Europe to whatever, to Middle East, to Gulf. They all kiss the knee and lick the boot, etc. That's why they have bases in their countries. That's why they're using their same central banking system. That's why they're using their same second layer, like Swiss system, etc. Okay, in the countries that are not bound to the banking cartel, the countries that are resisting, colonialism, are the ones that are getting bombed continuously, dude. Okay, and we call them terrorists. Anyways, guys, what's coming for your economy, for your paycheck, is going to be out of your mind. Just in the food, in the fuel, cost of goods. Real estate is going to be so many motivated sellers there. They can't afford their homes anymore. Even though they have beautiful homes and they have higher-end homes, a lot of higher-end jobs are going to be getting eliminated because of companies not making money. So we're not hitting into a depression. We're already into the depression. It's just not being televised, because as we can see that you can trust the Iranian government more than you can trust the U.S. For example, they hit this fucking plane. The American Central Com said, no, we didn't hit it, and there was videos of it, and then a few hours later they came and said, yeah, they hit it. So it's like continuous lies. You can hear Trump saying, oh, blah, 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 they don't have any air systems, and then boom, they hit multiple helicopters, multiple fucking planes, all in one fucking day, dude. Okay, so before, the airplanes were very far away shooting these, missiles, tomahawks, whatever they shoot, and they weren't coming into the space, right? That's why they were getting shot down in other countries outside of the Iran. But I think that Iran fooled them. Iran played like a lot weaker than they were. They allowed their country to get hit. It was like a Rocky Balboa situation, right? Like they were just taking the hits, let them wear themselves out with less and less ammunition, with less and less belief system. Like, damn, dude, now we're hitting bridges because we can't find the bad guy, supposedly, right? And so I think that Iran used the Rocky Balboa and then let the opponent think that he is weaker than he is, and then they unleash boom, 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 boom. And I think that helped build sentiment inside of the country, also sentiment outside of the country. And I'm telling you, man, every time Iran hits the Zionist pigs and hits the Epstein regime, people around the world are literally cheering, man. Like literally, man. If you go watch these, uh, I like watching these Indian news because they speak good English, and you know they, they know their facts, and so when they talk, they give you the facts. But um, it's funny, like a lot of people are pissed at America, dude. This is a war of choice. You know, they fuck their economies up. Like guys are coming in, like, man, you guys fucked this up. Or, for example, they were saying like India was in the Goldilocks. You know, they had low inflation, hyper growth, literally just growing, and now they're gonna take a hit, like 2% in their economy, and this is gonna be costly. They were saying like they were paying 60. They were buying Russian oil. They were paying $60 per barrel, and now they're paying $138 per barrel, and you know how that's gonna f their economy, dude, up to hell, you know. They were pissed, dude, you know, and it's funny to see that, like, you know, that America just fucked itself up, literally, all dimensional. Is getting hit in the battlefield, politically is getting hit, economically is getting hit, and that's because you got a fucking gambler, a narcissist, an Epstein class, fucking ruining, you know, the people. And you know, literally, since I've been in America, America's been at war with some country or another, bombing them one way or another, terrorizing them one way or another, every fucking year in multiple, and sometimes in 1 year, in multiple countries. So just like we see right now with this guy, right? Multiple countries, Venezuela, blah, 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 Iran, blah, 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 blah. Who knows who else, dude? It's all top secret, dude. But lies after lies after lies from the top down, dude. You know, like, the information you get from other countries' news is way more reliable than the shit you get here, dude. And that's why I don't even watch the news of the propaganda on state TV here, because it's just a bunch of lies. But now it looks like they're coming around because they got to tell the truth, dude, because all these guys like me are telling the truth, you know, and they're going up there and they're getting the data, and they're like, okay, here, brother. Take a look at this. That side might be lying. And, you know, even though we can't fact check this, but we can see it with our own eyes and make our own decisions. So anyways, guys, the worst, deepest, ugliest depression is coming, and there's a lot of opportunity too, okay? Let me talk about one of the opportunities, all right, that I see, okay? As gas prices get more and more expensive, I think that, this is not financial advice, I don't make any money off this or anything like that, is that micro mobility. Okay, micro mobility. What is micro mobility? You know, the e-bikes, the e-scooters. As things get more and more expensive, guys, we can't find it because irrational industries that are in that sector are going to explode. If stock people that own stocks in it, or people that, you know, sell these things, or people that distribute these things, or ship these things, or manufacture these things, are going to have a big expansion in profits, in my opinion. Okay, I'm not investing in any of that stuff. Well, let me take it back. I did write a book about how to flip bicycles, which includes e-bikes. Okay, but more importantly, I wrote the book because I wanted to teach my real estate students how to learn how to invest in real estate without losing big chunk of money, okay, and risking so much money to get into debt. Because if you can flip bicycles, you can flip real estate. Simple as that. They're parallel. Let me give you some examples. Why? Number one, you have to find a deal. You know, for example, in the new Flip, the book that I wrote, I teach you how to find $1,000 bicycles and only pay them $100. You heard me right, from a motivated seller. So there's a lot of them in today's market, right? And then turn around, buy it for 100. It's worth 1,000. Sell it for 700, which is below market. Super fast, what I call warp speed, and rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. Okay. Once you do 10 of those, then you understand how real estate works, because when you buy a bike, you have to inspect it, you have to talk to the seller, you got to find a deal, you got to negotiate, you got to do sales, right? Even though it's very, very simple, I've created a copy and paste system. You understand the processes, okay, of what is it to be a real estate investor, by buying the property all the way to the exit strategy, where you have to sell it, find the end buyer, stage it, prop it up, you know, write good description, write good pictures, take good pictures, etc. So you run the whole rainbow spectrum of the business of real estate when you flip bikes. And in my book, The New Flip, I show you exactly where to find these deals. I have copy and paste offer letters. I have video training, okay? And plus, more importantly, I'll watch over your shoulder and help you do your first deal because I want you to win. You can find that information at thenewflip.com, or you can go to my main website at mrnofluff.com, mrnofluff.com. If you're interested in yourself creating cash flow today while learning real estate investing, or even not learning real estate investing, because you can do this business full time if you wanted to. Don't take no for an answer. If you could leave your thoughts, comments below, love to hear it. Peace, guys.